What up, Tube? John Wick Sniping back with another reaction video for you. And today we are going to react to a video that Frankie did yesterday, kind of regarding one of the videos that I made with respects to Phil for Real and kind of, you know, the somewhat friendly debate that Phil and I have had. I think it's gone pretty respectful. He's shared his points. I've shared mine. I've kind of seen what he's talking about. I guess understands what I'm talking about. But Frankie watched my reaction video to Phil, saw that Phil spoke about Frankie, who has now exited the play. He's awoken. He's been red-pilled on AMC is what I like to call it. He's up now. He understands. He understands that AMC may not have been the worst play because you at least learned a very valuable and costly lesson to date. Okay, so without further ado, I'm going to start Frankie's video. I'm not going to play him as fast as I play other guys because Frankie actually talks really quick. So I'm going to only speed him up a little bit. But before I do that, you know, I just want to point out that Frankie and I, probably you'd like to call us the third generation YouTubers of AMC. First gen, you would call Matt and Trey. Second gen, you would probably call Lou, Bigums, Tony Denaro, Boss Blunts, and that group. And I know that there's a fourth. You could probably start the fourth generation with Scavenger and some of the other guys down the road there. But Frankie and I, for the most part, always agreed with each other's content. I think Frankie today totally understands what I was trying to do about a year ago when I was trying to get the content creators to show and prove that they own shares, just so that the viewers can kind of get an idea of like, hey man, you're pumping this shit to me every fucking day, but do you have skin in the game? Because it's easy to pump something when it doesn't hurt you when it's losing. It's also really easy to pump something, a stock, when you don't have that many shares really to lose. You understand what I'm trying to say? For instance, and I'm not really trying to talk shit about you, CSI, Common Sense Investor, but from what I've seen, when you have shown your portfolio and things that you play within your means, which is kind of smaller than what I would play. So I don't know how much AMC you've ever had, but I would probably guess maybe you had a couple hundred shares, maybe 100, something like that. And it's easier to be optimistic on 50 to 100 shares going to the moon than the guy who's watching you with 5,000, 10,000, 25,000 shares, who it costs a lot more to keep losing that money as AMC continues to bleed down. And that was the big difference in this whole scenario. You had YouTubers that either did not own a share at all, guys like, I would say, Lou versus Wall Street, okay? Then you had guys that maybe were pumping on YouTube that had very little amounts of shares. So it was easy to pump it to the moon. It's easy to hold those shares because it's not a lot of money. And I get it. A lot of people will comment and say you should only invest what you can afford to lose in the stock market. I get that. But that's not how it works when you're in your own privacy with your own thoughts, in your own room. You say to yourself, shit, man, this sounds like a really good deal, man. I'm not supposed to put $1,000 into this. I should be putting in 100 or 200 into this, but I'm going to put the 1,000. You know what? I'm going to try to find another way to pay the rent next month because this thing could pop on me and I could be very rich. So I'm going to put in as much as I can. And that's really what happened to a lot of AMC investors because of the AMC pumping. Because if you're pumping something as a virtual guarantee, well, then why wouldn't you push all of your fucking chips in the middle of the table and said, I'm all in? You guys said this is going to the moon. You said this is going to 10,000, 50,000, 100,000, 500,000. Shit, I got to put as much money into this fucking dream as I possibly can. And that's what really happened with AMC, okay? So don't waste your time commenting the logical way to play the stock market because that's not what happened. AMC at this point has taught everyone who is still holding and losing money or has exited losing money a valuable and costly lesson, and that is don't trust YouTube anymore, okay? Especially if guys are not holding shares. Don't trust buying and holding to the moon anymore. That's out the door. Definitely don't invest your money into a stock that has 500 million shares or more in the float. and definitely make sure you got a good feeling about the CEO of the company that you're going to invest in, because if you knew how shady Adam Aaron wound up being, you would have never put even $1 into this company. So without further ado, I'm going to start Frankie's video and react as we go. Go, Frankie.
Hey, this is Frankie. Let me say, I'm not a financial advisor. Anything that I say in this video is for entertainment purposes only. Whatever I say in this video is my opinion, may not necessarily be factual.
So I'm going to take it right from the top, right there. Frankie Muhammad does an excellent job of doing the disclaimer. It's repeated the same way every single time. It is really well worded. And I'll tell you what, from my days of working in a legal collections office where you could legally, I was in a law firm and I was a collector, meaning I wasn't just pestering you and calling you, telling you to pay whatever you owe. I could actually take action and garnish your wages at work, garnish you at garnish your bank account, freeze your bank account. And that is the law. That is allowable under law. When you owe a debt, you are able to call the person up. If they blow you off and they hang up like they do normal collectors calls, you don't want to do that if they're calling you from a law firm, because what they're going to do is they're going to turn around, find out where you work, find out where you bank, and they're going to lock you up in 2 different places. And you're going to call back crying the blues and saying, sorry, I thought you were a different collector, blah, blah, blah. Please don't take my money. I'll pay, but let's work out a payment plan. Why am I saying that? Because when you are a collector, you must read a mini Miranda on every single call that you make when you are trying to collect money from someone that owes on a debt. It goes something like, I am a debt collector. Anything you say on this call may be used, blah, blah, blah. I don't remember it right now, but you hear it very often when you make calls regarding your bills, or if you owe something, they're going to read it to you. Why do I say that? Because Frankie does an excellent job with his mini Miranda, I'll call it, on his videos. He makes it perfectly clear. He does it in the beginning of every video, and it is perfect. He doesn't do it at the end. I've seen YouTubers do it at the end. It's too late. Someone's already watched you. They may have not even finished the video. They went out and bought something. They lost because you pitched it, and now they're pissed off at you. Frankie does it right at the beginning. Good job. Right off the bat, Frankie.
Don't buy, sell, a hold stock because of anything that I say in this video. Do your own DD. So look, check this out, man. So I stopped doing anti-Adam Aaron and anti-AMC videos. And the reason why I stopped doing it is not just because I'm in another place. I stopped doing it because it's people that I got respect for that's trapped in the AMC short squeeze or in the stock, and they're trying to get their money back, particularly a lot of no-voters. I got a lot of respect for them. So, man, I didn't really want to be putting content out there that was going to, hurt them as far as them trying to get their money back. I can care less about somebody talking about don't do no video. Like Phil be saying, don't do no videos, you don't own stock. Man, fuck that. The only reason why I ain't been doing no videos is because, I want to see people get their money back. Like I said, I guess a lot of people may not got respect for this trapped in the.
I'm going to stop on that point because it's a really good point. Okay, some of you other YouTubers got to stop this nonsense of don't do videos, blah, 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 with respects to AMC at least. Because unless you're going to cross-check everybody, which I am going to try to do going forward, I want to know who still really has AMC shares and who is still bullshitting on YouTube, acting like they have shares and still pumping a moass, okay? If you're not going to hold everybody accountable to show AMC shares, you do not have the right, if you're an AMC pumper, to tell someone that has negative content regarding AMC, you don't have the right to tell them to not put that content out. Not in AMC, okay? Not in AMC. If you guys are not proving that you own, then you don't have the right. And furthermore, I think I'm probably, once this AMC goes down a little bit more, I'm just going to pick up 100 shares for shits and giggles. That way I can actually be the most truthful person when talking about AMC, because I'm going to show it on every video that I make that I at least own 100 shares. Okay, so I'm talking to you of a position of ownership, and I will probably talk about how I believe it's not going to go anywhere. It's still not going to go anywhere, but I own it. And I'll prove it on every video, and I'll show it. And I'll show the date of when I bought it. And every time I make a video, you'll see the same date. It was a week ago. It was 2 weeks ago. It was 3 weeks ago. You're going to see that date. Because let me tell you something. Even if these AMC pumpers probably showed you shares today, they probably wouldn't show you the date of those shares. because they don't want to be caught in a situation where they were pumping videos years ago and they were jumping in and out of the play while telling everybody that you must hold, you cannot sell. Okay, you cannot sell. Now, while I'm on the matter real quick, I wrote down some things that you should have learned about AMC to this point and why you would not invest in AMC if you knew what you know now then. Number one, okay, you probably would not invest in this company if you knew what you know about Adam Aron today. Back then, you would say, fuck that guy. I'm not fucking investing in his company. That guy's a fucking scam artist, and I'm not putting my money in that company. That's number one. Number two, you would pay attention to the size of the float of the company. I don't remember what it was 2-3 years ago, but it probably was still in the 100 millions. Me personally, I stay away from stocks that are in the hundreds of millions in the share float. It's just too many shares to manipulate, and it's tough to get that stock to move. You got to get a lot of buying power. Now, in the beginning, when AMC ran to 72, that was it. That was everybody pouring in and driving it up to 72. That's what that was. And the moment people took their profits, that's when it started trickling down. That's when shorts took new positions, and that's how they continuously bled it all the way back down. That's reason number two. Reason number three is that this was being sold as a buy and hold. Do not sell, do not move, do not breathe. Just wait to get paid, wait to get rich. But you can't get everybody to follow those rules because there's day traders, guys. There's day traders that say, look at those idiots over there. They're all holding more of that float, right? So what am I going to do? While they're locking up that float and that stock's kind of just going up and down and they're able to chart it up and down, they're pulling money out of that stock constantly. I could tell you day traders probably made a killing on AMC. While you were holding, they were taking bites out of the stock, and that's what everybody should have been doing. But I also watched Frankie's video after this where he mentioned that AMC investors should have been taking profits, so on and so forth. Unfortunately, it wouldn't have worked. You wouldn't have gotten a raise in price, so you wouldn't have been able to really do that. You needed it to work out the way it did in order for the day traders to actually score the most out of this moass narrative. Because you guys were holding, they were taking bites. They were scalping. They were, give me 1,000 here, 500 there, 300 here. They were like, fuck these people talking about 10,000, 50,000, 100,000, 500,000. They knew better. We did not. We were brand new. Okay. So that's the third reason why day traders. The fourth reason that you didn't know then that you know now is that the halts will control any sort of crazy movement going up. Okay. And if you don't know, every halt lasts longer than the previous halt. So the very first halt is probably like 5 minutes. If it starts getting wild and crazy and it keeps on pumping up and you see the damn fucking the bar going and the green bar going up and it's tricking up, it halts again a second time. The second time is now going to be longer than the first time. It could probably be now 10 minutes and so on and so forth. The third halt until you get so bored and so tired and so freaked out that your money's locked up and you can't buy or sell that the next time you're saying, fuck, let me get out of this before the next halt is a monumental collapse. So that is a perfect strategy that they hold over the retail investor that's gaming the stock market through Webull, Robinhood, free broker apps, so on and so forth. They're able to control you in that sense. In my opinion, the stock market was not built to be gamified, okay, to be meme invested. So since they were not ever prepared, they could not foresee millions of more investors coming in to kind of gamify and play stocks on a particular day because you have the ability right on your phone. They now cheated the stock market and continue to cheat the stock market because they have no way to be able to control that price movement when they've got millions and millions of people that are moving shares up and down all day long and day trading. Do you think someone that's in Webull, Robinhood, and a free broker apps, do you think they fucking care that they only have 3-day trades? They'll burn that fucking account. You want to know why I know that? Because I'll burn my fucking account for 3-day trades. If it's a matter of me making a ton of money and burning my account and them kicking me out of Webull, for instance, I don't give a fuck. I'm going to sell and take my profit. If it means I have to sell because the stock keeps dropping, but it's my last day trade, they're going to kick me off the platform. Fuck them. I'm going to get out. I'll go to another broker app. I'll open maybe a second account if they let me in that particular. But my point is that the stock market and the powers that be that control the stock market could not have envisioned years ago that you were going to get millions and millions of more people coming in to buy and sell shares, in my humble opinion. So they have now said, fuck it, because we didn't see this coming. We are going to do things that you probably wouldn't even know that we are doing behind the scenes. Okay. Let me move on with Frankie.
Like, however, so I'm watching John Wick's cycle video. So he's doing a reaction video to a video that Phil did. And I hadn't seen Phil's video, but I was watching John Wick's cycle. So I saw in the video that Phil mentioned my name, although, I ain't in the place. So if you're going to mention my name, I got a right to respond back to the fact that you mentioned my name.
Hold on, I'm going to interrupt because I had to finish a thought that I had. In my opinion, because we are gaming the system of the stock market because of the free broker apps that are inviting us. Because if you remember way back in the day, when I first started trading, way back in the day, when you only had particular bigger brokerages like Fidelity and so on and so forth, it was you kind of had to know what you were doing. Okay. Today, you don't really have to know that much of what you're doing in order to trade. Back in the day, you were a little bit more scared because you didn't know what you were doing. Now it doesn't matter because it's on your phone. You can research all day long because it's a handheld. You can get in and out of stocks really quickly and so on and so forth. So you've got a lot more business. If you notice and you watch the entire market, like I said in my last reaction video to Phil for Real, you would see that a lot of these stocks are trading their floats 5, 10, 15, 20, 100 times their floats. You didn't really see that back in the day. That tells me that there's a lot more people buying and selling stocks today than there was, for instance, like in the 90s and the early 2000s. Okay, so if they were to allow the prices to organically move based on all of this movement in a stock, showing that the float is being flipped 5, 10, 20 times over, you'd get a lot more wealthy people from just playing on their phone. Okay. And that's what they don't want. They don't want us rich, folks. We are the working class. Most of us that are watching YouTube, that are praying for things like an AMC moass to come true, you're probably part of the working class. If you don't have a few $1 million these days with inflations, you're probably in the working class. Okay. They don't want the working class to be the upper class. They don't want that because then they won't get their streets cleaned. They won't get their roofs redone. They won't get their grass cut. They won't get their windows cleaned. They won't get you coming to work at 9, fucking doing 5 different jobs and them telling you got to stay late and don't come in 5 minutes early or 5 minutes late and so on and so forth. They don't want that. They want you right where you're at so that we can keep this system called the United States government constantly churning, bringing in money from taxes, having you work, having you bleed, having you live your life to work for your next paycheck. That's what they want. They don't want you moassing. They won't let you moass. And I don't know how else to make that clear. You can troll me, you can get upset, but it doesn't matter because at the end of the day, you are down on this stock. Even if you're so happy about it, it doesn't really matter. They are not going to give it to you.
Hey, you don't want me doing a video, but you mentioned my name, bro. So check this out. Let me say this to you, Phil. I think y'all moass play is dead, bro. I think it's dead. Yep. And I think that when all these retail investors, man, they was upset and they was feeling the pain. I think the reason why you probably wasn't feeling no pain is just my opinion. That might not necessarily be true. I don't think that you was holding AMC stock just like everybody else was holding stock.
Boom.
You might not be holding the stock now. That's why you ain't feeling the pain.
Boom, 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 Frankie, boom. Okay, that's the shit I'm talking about right now. Everybody wants to say or probably think of me of like some fucking asshole on YouTube. I'm not trying to be an asshole. I am just seeing certain angles. Okay, so for instance, and this is aside from what Frankie saw, is funny. I could tell right away in Frankie's video that this is kind of like a jab at Phil. You know, he's trying to be kind of like a smart ass about it. which he's entitled to because Phil does keep poking the bear. This man's already sold his stock. He's moved on. He's not talking about AMC anymore. Or he does talk about AMC. I mean, Frankie knows pretty clearly that if he talks about something else, he's not going to get as much views. He understands, like I understand, that if you talk AMC and you put it in the description, you're going to get a lot more views. But I can tell what Frankie's doing here. It's kind of funny. But point being here is that, and it's funny coming from Frankie, because back in the day, when I was asking for content creators to show their shares, which would have been a very valuable thing to do a year and a half ago, because you would have seen who's who and you could have understood who to trust a little bit better. A guy like Frankie was a lot more trustworthy because he showed it. He actually came out and showed it. When Frankie drops his content, he drops it with a lot of emotion. Why? Because when you've got your hard-earned money tied into an investment, it ain't working out, especially when you think it's supposed to go a lot higher or worth a lot more, you're going to be pissed off. And these other guys, they were never upset about it. Have you ever seen an upset Phil for real video? I've never seen an upset Phil for real video about the stock price. Now, I understand Phil will play on the narrative of, I don't care. It could go to a penny. I know what I hold. I'm going to wait until they cover their short position, right? And so he tries to play that narrative. But we can still question you, Phil. We would believe you a little bit more if you actually put up, you know how to do all what I'm doing right now. You know how to do a reaction. You do it very well. You've got the microphone now. You know how to do everything to edit a video, to show. You can easily show your brokerage account and show that you have AMC shares still, and you really want to be the man, Phil? You really want to be the man in this AMC movement? Show us that you've been holding it the whole time. That means going in to your transactions history and showing how many shares you bought of AMC and what date, and show us the earliest date. I don't think you're going to do that, because I'm going to strongly guess at this point that all AMC content creators jumped in and out of the play while saying on YouTube, hold, do not move a share. The only way it's going to work is if you hold your shares or add more to your pile. While they were saying that, they were flipping in and out of the stock, because that's the smart thing to do. That's what you should be doing. If a stock goes up to 30 like it did, 32, you should be selling, knowing it's going to dip again and get back in at 20. Right? And take in all that profit. And I bet everything that a large majority, if not all of the YouTubers, were doing that, jumping in and out. I can tell you I was doing that, but I wasn't selling, buy and hold on YouTube. I've always been the most hot and cold with AMC of any of the YouTubers. One day I'd be like, yeah, AMC to the moon, man, let's go, guys. We got this. They're cheating us, blah, blah, blah. But the next day I'd be like, something don't smell right. And if you don't believe me, you can watch my videos. That's why some of you want to include me in the suing of a YouTuber, which I'll tell you again for the 5th time. If you feel like you have a case against my channel, bring your case to a court. Let's go for it. I don't mind. I will unravel this whole thing if you really want to. If you really think that a small fish like me was the most influential in the AMC moas, I'm pretty sure that's not what you think. You would probably go for the biggest dog. The biggest dog right now is Lou vs. Wall Street. He doesn't use disclaimers like Frankie Muhammad. He's still pumping, has never shown shares. In all his video, he says we, and then at some point he says you, meaning we own, and then when he gets to another point, you got to do this, X, Y, and Z. So you don't know if he's in or out. But I'm willing to bet a lot of money that Lou is 100% out of AMC, may have never been. He may have never been, but definitely did not hold throughout.
Everybody else is feeling. That's why you're so happy. That's why you don't have no issue. That's just my personal opinion, man. But look, let me say this, since you feel the need to mention my name. I think a moas play is dead. I think it's shot to the curb. It ain't gonna be no moas. I think, man, I think the Adam Aaron influencers need to stop, man. This is my personal opinion. Stop, man, trying to get people to dump money into the stock based on the premise that it's gonna be a moas or a short squeeze. If you just want people to get in the stock, man, because they want to day trade the stock, they want to swing trade the stock, or people want to short the stock to make money, cool. But I think y'all need to stop, man, telling people they need to be dumping money into the stock because the play ain't deep.
I'll tell you what, Frankie, it doesn't even matter if they say that. to be honest. I don't think anybody's jumping into this play anymore. I think this is like already over. You know what I'm saying? Like this is like already gone further than far, is my point. This is like a wasted talking point. The only reason why any of us are doing this is because we're getting views on YouTube. That's it. But this is already overcooked already. Okay, there ain't no new people. Who the hell is coming in to buy AMC at $13 right now when they just saw it at $2? You're gonna now start buying it at $13? Get the fuck out of here. No one's buying it. There's no way that Phil don't even have a large channel. He can't possibly get anybody to buy it. Even if you were talking about a channel size like, I'd say Boss maybe has the biggest right now. Boss of the AMC guys, he can't get anybody to buy these shares anymore. There's nobody buying. So that you don't even have to worry about that.
Because you still gonna have a moass or a short squeeze, and you know it. Y'all ain't finna have no moass. 90% of people's shares gone. So how you gonna have a moass? Yeah. And even Adam Aaron was saying, look here, man, in the fund perspective, said, look, if you put your money in this stock.
Let's talk about the moass for 1 second here, as Frankie mentioned it. Okay. From me studying the stock market over the course of 3 years, I can tell you this: the only way possible moass would have been possible would have been in pre-market or after hours. They were never going to allow the entire world watch a stock go up to $1,000, $2,000, $5,000 and say to themselves, shit, let me jump into like GameStop. They were not going to allow that. GameStop was running during regular market hours and people were piling into it as well. It also did run in pre-market and after hours as well. I vividly remember GameStop running into the hundreds after hours one day a year or two ago. I vividly remember that. But with AMC, they were prepared for AMC, okay? And the only way you could have gotten any sort of pump in the price would have been in pre-market or after hours. It was never going to be during market hours. But regardless, it wasn't going to happen in my book.
Especially if y'all trying to hold this stock, put your money in the stock. Hey, it's a strong possibility you may lose all your money. So Adam Aaron is saying one thing, but you telling people things to the contrary. You telling people to dump their money into this stock for a short squeeze play, holding it. But Adam Aaron is already saying, hey, man, you.
That's a good statement too. How do you clean that up, Phil? For instance, if you're watching this, how do you clean that up? How do you clean up Adam Aaron's mess there? Because Adam Aaron shits his fucking diapers a lot, and I noticed that you clean it up a lot. But how do you fix that one where the guy has an open letter with company letterhead, which we've seen him not use company letterhead, open letter on Twitter stating that you are in a high risk if you invest in this company? How do you clean that up? How does that look for a guy like you who is still pumping apes, holding, moass, moon? How do you clean up Adam Aaron saying, don't buy into our company unless you're ready to lose all your money? That's not very inviting in my book, right? That's not inviting.
Put your money in the stock, you're probably going to lose it. I think he know his stock man better than you do. I think he know what the company got planned for the stock better than you do. But like I said, since you mentioned my name, I feel a right to respond. I ain't really been doing no video. But I'm going to say this, man, the moass play, man, is dead. All y'all doing, Adam Aaron influencer, y'all shooting YouTube videos. So y'all get traffic, y'all get attention, so y'all can get money.
Yep.
And let me say this too, since I'm doing the video. Hey, Thomas James, man, I think you're wrong for putting that hit piece out there and stocks and crypto trade. Just because he said that he want to be on the AMC board. The only thing that Adam Aaron and the board, in my opinion, have shown that they are not retail friendly. They're not pro retail investors. So when stocks and crypto trade say he want to be on the board, the only thing that he's saying, man, is that he want to try to add some balance to what's going on. That's it. He want to represent retail investors because it's not being done. So why you got a problem with him? And like I said, most of the Adam Aaron influencers, man,
I don't know anything about that situation, so I'm not going to touch on it. I haven't watched Thomas James, whoever we're talking. Like, I can't watch every single one of these YouTubers. Like, I only watch this mostly second gen and a few of the third, most second gen, third gen, and a couple of the fourth gen guys. But and I don't know anything about that. But it really, this shit needs to just die out already. It needs to just stop already. And the only way it will stop is if the view counts start going down. I don't know if it's actual real people mixed in with bot farms that are watching these videos and stuff like that, keeping this story alive, keeping this moass theory alive. But it needs to end already, in my book. It really does.
And all they're trying to do is just make money off of getting AMC track. They're more concerned with making money as influencers and YouTube ad revenue than they are with retail investors getting paid. That's what it's all about. But why would you have a problem with stocks and crypto trading?
See, it's very simple to figure out who's really just trying to milk the cow on YouTube with AMC. The guy who shoots right up into your face is Lou. Lou is trying to fill numbers. He had a channel that had 80,000 plus subscribers. So when he dropped a video back then, he was getting 10 to 15,000 per video. So he dropped 3, 4, 5 videos, and he'd come up with maybe 50,000 views on a day. 50,000 views for a guy like Lou, for a guy like me, is actually a lot of money. It's a lot of ad revenue. So he was making a good amount of money. What did Lou do after he deleted that channel, which we are all speculating why he deleted it? I'm probably going to guess or speculate that he deleted it because there's probably a lot of incriminating evidence to stop pumping regarding AMC without any disclaimer at all, which I think is bullshit anyway, most of these disclaimers, but at least in the way that Frankie does it, I feel like that would be best case scenario. But Lou never put a disclaimer, right? And he was stock pumping, and he deleted that channel. I believe that that's what it was. So now what is he doing? He took a page out of 8 Father's book, saw 8 Father, because remember, 8 Father wasn't dropping 20, 25 videos a day. He wasn't doing that about a year and a half ago. He would drop a couple videos here and there every day. Once 8 Father started dropping 20, 25 videos or whatever the case may be, I might be exaggerating, maybe it's 15, 20. Lou, I think, looked at it and says, shit, that's a great idea. My channel's not as big, but if I drop more videos, I can get the same views that I got back then. So Lou is like fucking going like this. You know what this is? This is fucking milking the udder, milking the tit from the fucking cow. He is just milking, because give me a fucking break, bro. How many fucking AMC theories are you going to put out and then move on to the next theory? Okay. And who the fuck needs AMC videos on a Sunday, on Labor Day, on a Saturday? There's nothing going on. There's nothing moving. Okay. Who needs them? So it's clearly and obvious that Lou just does it to milk ad revenue. He doesn't give a shit about AMC by his own admission. He's never shown shares. Ever, not one video in these channels, not one video in the old channels. He's never shown it. So it is 100% clear that Lou has no emotional investment in this stock, probably no financial investment in this stock, probably didn't lose any money in this stock, but the only thing he has in this stock is a moneymaker on YouTube, as long as he talks about it and gets views. And that is why he's pumping 10 to 15 videos a day, most of which are titled AMC.
Being on the board, I don't see why you have a problem with it. But like I said, I'm gonna close with this though. I think the moass, the AMC moass play is dead. I think the people that's in the stock, if you want to make your money back, you better learn how to play the pots. When it go up, you better get your money. But the people made that's talking about they down the hand for a fictitious man.
Listen,
when the moass play, y'all gonna get robbed, bro. That's just my first thing. But look, John Wick Sniper did it.
My man is learning. He's learning, and I'll tell you what. He was watching my channel as well, I guess whenever he got a chance, when I was day trading with my crew live every day. And I bet that crew would love to have that back. I would love to be back and do that, guys, but I just can't. You know, it's just I got too many things going on. But I think now that I've been gone for X amount of months already, I think you guys have tried other things. I don't think you're making the same kind of little money that we were making. We were winning on a lot of plays. We were losing on some plays, most of which was only because you didn't sell and you got a little greedy and the stock then dumped on you. But for the most part, we were playing the pumps on every single day. I was bringing up, I was showing and putting in my description what the pumps of the day, what had volume, what was moving up. And we had charters and we had people that were looking into the DD of the plays and stuff like that. And we were making a few bucks here and there. We had a great time. I mean, we would have live streams with a couple hundred people. I'd have people on my screen. I think I had at one point 4 or 6 people on my screen from various places around the world. And we would have like a happy hour on Friday. We had a great thing. I brought a whole different vibe of this YouTubing with stocks. Okay. I made it fun. I broke it all down to the only way we can make money. And it is on a daily basis. And it is whatever is being pumped. You try to chart it. You jump in. Hopefully you grab your cash. Don't get greedy. Get out. Come back tomorrow. We'll do it all over again. And we had a great thing going on. I had memberships that I was selling at $5 a piece. The memberships were, yes, for me to make a little something, to provide the space for all of us to meet and set everything up, and for me to do my little homework in the mornings to find what was pumping so that I can bring it to your attention. Okay, nobody on my channel had a problem with that $5. A lot of people thought it was too cheap. A lot of people were paying me $10 for a membership. The membership, in large part, was going to be used to create a private setting so that we didn't get interrupted by losers that have no life on YouTube, that all they do is create multiple channel names and act like there's somebody else, and to troll all day long and disrupt what we were doing. And it would be so funny because I literally gave a moderate wrench to everybody that was a paid member in my live stream so that they can throw that fucking wrench to any troll that decided to jump in to try to cause problems, and maybe I don't see it, right? So I had everybody with the ability to bump a person that wasn't a paid member right out if they were being disruptive. So we had two ways to control our viewers, basically. One was I could go private and outsiders could not see if they were not paid members. We know bots and trolls are not going to pay to be inside of a membership situation like that. And the second way was I made everybody a moderate that was a paid member, and they can take action on anybody that was being disruptive. Let's move on here. This is a long video, guys. Listen, watch it in 2x speed. You know, break it up half during, you know, in the morning or in the middle of the day. Watch it. I've got good information for you. This is good reaction. Frankie's video is really good. He's really reiterating what I'm saying as well. And he understands now that if you want to make money in this stock, you ride the pumps during the day, you get a few bucks, and you move on, and you come back the next day. You use your 1 or maybe 2 day trades that day, and don't burn them. You know, wait for a better opportunity if you're down to your last day trade, whatever the case may be.
Excellent job at articulating why the moass is dead. Listen to this. His apartment in the Bronx. He dazzled me with his stories. And Phil,
I want to stop here for 1 second.
Best friend out of Aaron.
I have been waiting, and I'm like, man, I've made such good content. Why has Frankie done one of his famous phone sharing? And with respects to Frankie, I give him the benefit of the doubt. This man has other things to do. It seems like he is actually a teacher to children, maybe. I don't know, some sort of teacher. And he probably has a lot to do. He's not savvy with the editing and stuff like that. And that's okay. We respect his channel for that. Okay, we totally do. And I had been waiting. I'm like, fuck, I've dropped a lot of content. Why hasn't Frankie done one of the phone sharing shout outs to me? Lo and behold, I finally got one. So thank you very much.
I love that story. So if you tell me that you invested this money to be a part of the pump story, then I accept that. But do not be upset at where you're at financially in that stock right now if you are a member of any of those channels. So as AMC keeps on hugging the 52-week low, I mean, AMC, that's one thing AMC loves, is hugging the 52-week low. It is in love with the 52-week low. It touched the 52-week high and said, see you later. I don't like it up here. I love it. I love the 52-week low. So again, it hugged it today. It'll probably hug it a little bit more tomorrow and the day after that. And just doing the math, the stock's worth pre-reverse split about $1. So if you got 1,000% run, which you tell me in the comment section, when it was the last 1,000% run stock you saw, as if it happens all the time. But even
all right, so I'm going to pause them there because if you guys are watching this when you probably have already seen that, when you've already seen what I had to say, it's very simple. I'll summarize it again. You don't see 1,000% pumps, okay, very often. It's like seeing a unicorn. Okay, but even if you saw that in AMC, right now the stock would go to like what, $26 if you got 1,000% run. If it closed at 13, I don't remember correctly what it sold at or what it closed at on Friday. But if you got 1,000% run to 26, that means what? You are now at what is that? $2.30 pre-reverse split, whatever the case may be. That's what you're going to have to keep in mind if you're still holding the stock. You need a ridiculous pump. And even that pump is definitely not going to get you anywhere near the moass bullshit that you were praying for before you got to this point. And that's basically what I'm saying here. And what you also have working against you is if the stock rides up too high in those amounts of dollars, you're going to get a lot of pressure pushing it back down. So once it even smells something like $100, people that have learned already over the last couple of years, probably from being burned on AMC, they've learned how to short the stock, ride puts down, so on and so forth. I still have not really dived into that world. But, you know, if I see that situation arise in AMC where they start pumping it into like $50, $100, it's time for me to learn how to ride puts down. It's just something that I haven't done, and it's okay. It doesn't make me any less valuable on YouTube because I don't know how to do that, because I don't play options. I'm okay. I'm perfectly fine with the way I play the market. I play it exactly as I outlined, exactly as the way that Frankie Muhammad is talking about it, and I do fine. Sometimes I win, sometimes I lose, but I'm okay. I tread pretty lightly, and I have fun with it, and I don't over leverage myself, and sometimes I make a few bucks, and I'm totally happy with that. So I'll leave you guys with that. I'll actually let you know what I'm invested in right now before I go, because you guys know I always show my cards. On my channel, I've been showing you my cards for as long as I can remember, and I don't see any YouTuber doing that. For what reason, I don't know, other than they're lying and they don't really have the shares that they are talking about, because it really doesn't matter these days, okay? Somebody wants to fucking scam you and crack your account and take your fucking shares or money or whatever the hell you think you're protecting, because you got this old school mentality of privacy, which doesn't exist anymore. There's no privacy anymore in anything. Everything you're doing on this thing right here is being monitored by someone, by some entity somewhere. Okay, if somebody wants to take your shit, they'll take your shit. So it doesn't matter if you're going to show your little 100 AMC shares that I'm pretty sure nobody gives a fuck about. Okay, but I will show you mine. A guy that shows, I'll take that back. There is another guy that shows a lot of their plays a lot of time, and that's Teddy Zane. Teddy Zane next to me and maybe Kevin Free From It All. We're the only ones that show you our cards. We're showing you what we're playing. I like to talk in poker references. I show you what I'm playing. So, for instance, before I hang up this or close out this video, I'm in AXLA. Okay, I've got 5,408 shares. I'm not down because it's recording the after hours price. I'm actually up because it closed at 42 cents. And this stock's really pumping hard right now. I'm not pumping it or selling it to you guys. I'm only telling you what I'm doing. This is just what I'm invested in. You do whatever you want. You look into it or not. AXLA. I don't care. I don't need anybody to pump it. There's plenty of volume in it. I don't need to create a coalition of buyers or anything like that. So you don't have to peg me with it. I don't need to give you a disclaimer. I'm simply sharing with you what I'm doing. I'm in AXLA, 5,408 shares at an average of 40 cents. It closed on Friday at 42 cents. After hours, it closed at 39 cents. Okay, they got an FDA approval for a long COVID pill for people that have long COVID, that are fatigued, so on and so forth. So it's pumping. I don't care what they do, to be honest with you. Does it make it a little bit more interesting? Yeah, sure. If some entity gets behind it and decides to invest and put some money into it or buy them out or whatever the case may be, that'd be great. But I'm only riding the pump, and this stock is pumping hard right now. It's a 55 million share float, and on Friday they closed at 157 million shares traded in the volume. And the previous day, I think Thursday, was even more than that, or Wednesday. There was an initial pump, I think it was Wednesday when the news came out, that had tons of volume. I think it might have been 200 or 300 million. Then you had a sell-off on Thursday where they brought it down to, what did they bring this down? 23 cents or something like that. And then it got repumped back up as high as 47.50, 47 cents, 47.5 cents, and closed at 42 cents. And it doesn't matter how much a stock price is valued at. What matters is what the percentage of movement it goes. So a lot of people that don't know better, like, you're a penny stock investor. You're a penny. Who the fuck cares? Nobody cares. I don't care if the stock is $1,000 a share or a penny a share. What I care is it moving 5, 10, 50, 100, 500%. That's what I care. That's where I'm putting in my money, because I want to try to catch some of that percentage. Okay. So that's what I do. And I like having more shares with the cheaper stocks, because I want the potential of maybe there's a ridiculous pop of a couple 100%. And now I've got 5,000 shares. Whereas a stock that is valued at 100. Like a Tesla is probably not going to go 100% in a day, for instance. You understand? So that's why I do it. Anyway, I know this is a really long video. I really appreciate you watching it if you did. If you watched it in 2x speed, you got through it pretty quickly. Enjoy your Sunday. Enjoy Labor Day. I do have some more videos. Lou's giving me more content that I like to react to. So look forward to that. I do also plan on doing a reaction video to my own channel in the early days of about 2 to 3 years ago, just to react to my old self and what has come to today's date versus what was happening back there in AMC, for instance. And I'd like to talk to myself. That would be the past of myself talking, my future self talking to my past self. I think that would be a great reaction video. So look out for that, guys. Thank you very much. John Wick Sniping is out. Thank you, Frankie, by the way, for the video. Continue doing what you do, brother. I watch you all the time. Oh, before I go, I do want to mention something. Okay, because I don't play this. I don't watch him. I don't watch that. I don't give a shit about all that stuff. I don't need to be a child that, you know, has to prove allegiance to some respect. I watch a lot of YouTubers. I watch Frankie. I watch Phil. I watch Tony. I watch Lou. I watch Eight Father. I watch who else do I watch? Teddy. I watch Teddy. I watch Kevin Free From It All. That's my crew of YouTubers that I watch. Let me just look real quick at my feed here. Let me see who I'm watching. And some I like, some I don't like. I watch Marantz, I watch you. Common Sense, I watch you. Scavenger, I watch you. Massalorian, I watch you. You don't put anything out. Tanko Native knows I watch him. I watch Al from Boston. I wasn't really watching AMC Bigums. I watched one the other day. I was going to do a reaction, but I was like, fuck that guy. I don't watch Boss Blunts. These guys are just like obvious pumpers. So I don't really watch obvious pumpers. I want a little bit of substance. I want a little bit of critical thinking on both sides. I don't want you just pumping fucking smoke up my ass constantly about bullshit ass numbers that aren't going to come. I want you to be skeptical. I want you to tell me, hey, but this. And I believe, and I said it in one of my last reaction videos regarding Lou versus Wall Street. I said, Lou, I made multiple videos of you a couple of years ago telling you, since you think you know so much about the stock, why don't you tell us how we can get fucked? That would have been way more valuable coming from you because you had such a strong hold on the influence of this stock. Why weren't you telling us how they could fuck us? You're only telling us now that they fucked us, that Adam Aaron fucked us, that I told you he was bad. Yeah, you did say that. You were probably the first in line to tell everybody that Adam Aaron was a fucking scammer bullshitter. Okay, but there's a lot of damage that you've done, Lou, man, and I'll be honest with you, I'll say it in every video. You do deserve to get sued. If that happens or not, whatever it is, but somebody could have a good case against you. All right, guys, peace out. John Wick Sniping is out.